Can we
Good
start,
morning,
sir?
Doctor.
Sir?
Good morning.
Can we
Good
start, sir?
morning, Doctor Brajesh. Good morning, Doctor Brajesh. Yeah.
Good
Thank you,
morning.
sir. Thank you.
Good morning to all.
Thank you, sir. Sir, good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Brajesh, sir, can we start now? Sir, your mic is muted.
Yes, sure.
The mic is
Sure,
muted.
we can start.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Raj,
So, good morning, everyone.
uh,
Good morning. So,
That is, can I?
Hearty good morning to one and all.
good morning.
yeah, I
Hearty
request.
good morning to
Just,
one.
madam, just a minute. I request everyone, please mute your mic. I request everyone, please mute your mic. Kindly mute your mic, please. Kindly mute your mic. Otherwise, the speaker, what he is delivering, cannot understand. So it will not come to us very clearly. Kindly, I request everyone, kindly mute your mic.
Hearty good morning to one and all. Welcome to the second day of International E-Faculty Development Program organized by Nehru College of Pharmacy on emerging trends and challenges in pharmaceutical science and healthcare. I request everyone to turn off your mic and cam for a good resolution. I need your cooperation.
Sir, good morning. This is Parthiban moderator, Dr. Parthiban, moderator. That is from Nehru College of Pharmacy. Good morning, sir. Dr. Brajesh Yadav, sir. Very good morning.
Good morning.
And
Good
welcome
morning.
you for our institution for this beautiful E platform, that is FDP program. Welcome you, sir. And actually, we will start
Thank you.
this session with a small quote. You can learn something new every day if you listen. So with this small quote, we can start to learn. We can from Bridges Yadav sir, and I request Madam to give introduction about sir.
Thank you.
Rajshri Madam.
Dr. J. Singh Yadav, Assistant Professor, University of Information Science and Technology, Republic of North Macedonia, did PhD from HNB Goa Central University and Indian Veterinary Research Institute, India. The thesis title was Development and Validation of DNA Microarray Chip for Diagnosis of Viruses Prevalent in India. He has 10 years research experience in area of bioinformatics with reputed institutes like Informational Center for Genetic Engineering and Biotechnology, Italy, Tel Aviv University, Israel, ARO Ministry of Agriculture of Israel, and Indian Veterinary Research Institute, India. Has 32 international publications, of them in reputable journals with more than 80 cumulative impact factors. 2 books and 4 chapters. Already worked for international projects, serving editorial member in 4 different journals in area of computational biology. While 6 international and 1 national competitive fellowship and award like Arjuna Fellowship, ICGEP Visiting Fellowship Italy for working on leukemia system biology 2018. FEBM Transcontinental Multi Award Patent Course on the Molecular Basis of Disease at Italy 2018. NPDF grant by Department of Science and Technology India 2019. ARO Fellowship for Visiting Scientists, Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, Israel 2016-2018. The PBC Fellowship for Outstanding Researchers from China and India 2013-14-16. NSF National Science Foundation USA Travel and Lodging Grant at Metabolic Workshop USA 2015. MHRD Government Scholarship 2014 for Research in Israel from Indian students. I proudly welcome Dr. Brijesh Yadav, sir, for his talk on system biology-based approaches in the area of pharmaceutical sciences. Sir, please.
Thank you so much.
Excellent. You are welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
Excellent. Welcome, sir.
Good morning to all of you. And once again, I am very grateful to the management of the Nehru College of the Pharmacy and the Dr. Sudhakar sir who invited me in this great occasion. Now I am going to connect my PowerPoint presentation. Just a moment. Okay, so, just a small query. My screen is visible.
No, sir. No, sir.
No.
Yeah. You have to open the PowerPoint and give the full screen.
Yes, I have opened the PowerPoint. Then, okay.
Down you see, sir. Once if you open the PowerPoint only, it will comes in the full screen.
So I have to go on the entire screen, either window.
Entire screen. Entire screen.
Entire screen. Okay, share.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now-
Yeah. Click the full screen.
Yeah, oh, sure. So now my screen is visible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. It came up.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome, sir. Welcome, sir. Proceed, sir.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
So now, we are discussing about the emerging trends in pharmaceutical sciences and the health. So in this reference, today I am going to discuss another dimension of the drug designing and the drug development. It is called the system biology. So because now this day we can't ignore this kind of the science, and I guess in the coming days and the coming times, it is one of the most desirable technology in area of the pharmaceutical sciences. So she already give the introduction about myself, so I'm not going to take more time about the introduction part. So the basic question, what is the system biology? Why we need the system biology? Basically, the answer of this question start from the beginning of the Human Genome Project and the personalized medicine. I guess most of you have the idea about the Human Genome Project. Yes? Hello?
Yeah, sir. Is it audible? Audible. You proceed.
Okay, then good.
Please kindly raise the volume in your system. Raise your volume in the system. You proceed. Full volume. Thank you.
Okay. So this the Human Genome Project was started in basically 1989 by the United States and few other government, European government, and in Asia, China and Japan, they start in collaboration. The main goal of this Human Genome Project was to provide the complete and the accurate information about the human genome. So as we know that this project was completed in 2003, and once this project was completed, there was a huge amount of the data related to the human. So once this project was completed, we have the full information about the human genome. At that time, they give the information of 3 billion base pairs in the human genome, which contain 25,000 genes. And another aim of this human genome project to develop the different kind of the tools in the database, which are going to be free for the researcher who are working in the area of the biology, area of the drug development. And this project also have a very important for the medical research. So they also try to do the sequence from some other gene like the fruit fly and the mouse. So, and the Human Genome Project committed to the exploring the consequences of the genome research through the ethical, legal, and the social implication program. They just have to make sure there is no misuse of this data. So, the second need of the bioinformatics and the system biology to develop the personalized medicine, because if you see this picture, you can see the difference between the current medicine and the personalized medicine. Like in one group, if you see this picture, we have some kind of the cancer patient which affected with the colon cancer. We have one therapy, one kind of the treatment, all kind of the people. So we can see here there is effective medicine for this group of the people, but the second of the in the middle people, there is no effect of that particular medicine, and a few people it caused the adverse effect. So the main aim of the system biology and the bioinformatics to develop the medicine for human to human, because we know that each and everybody have their own immune response. Like for example, the current pandemic, the COVID-19, few people, even they got infected, they are become healthy within a week. Few are get a severe condition, because each and every individual have the different kind of the immune response. So once we have the medicine which are more focused towards the personalized, towards the each and everyone, then it will be very grateful advancement in the area of pharmaceutical science. So this system biology, because we know that the biology is very complex things, and the biology is not just only the biology. Here the physical chemistry, physics, mathematics, they work together inside our body. Like if there is protein want to interact with the protein, there is some kind of the forces. We can calculate those forces using the physical formula. And also each and every protein have some kind of the biophysical property, like they are the acidic, either they are the basics. So we need to design some kind of the pharmaceuticals which are complementary to those particular protein. And this system biology is based on the interdisciplinary field of the study that focus on the complex interaction within the biological system. So there are the huge interaction between the different fields. And this is also play very significant role for the constructive alignment of the biophysical monitoring of the gene protein along with the metabolites from the complex data. We will see what is the gene, what is the protein, and what is the metabolites in the later slide. Here we can see in this picture we have the genes, and I guess everybody know what is the genes. And the genes, the RNA, the mRNA of the genes make the proteins, and the proteins make the metabolites. So suppose that if you want to see the expression of the some genes in a disease condition and the normal condition, basically we have 2-3 kind of the technology. One is the DNA microarray, then we have the NGS technology, we are going to take the sample from those particular portion, and once we have the sample, we can extract the RNA, and we can see which kind of the genes are upregulated or downregulated in this particular disease. Then once we know the genes, we can find the proteins. Of the proteins, we can also see which kind of the metabolites are appear. So we call the in the bioinformatics term, you call the gene enrichment analysis. And so this kind of the correlation we can easily find using the system biology and the network. Anybody, if you have any kind of the doubt, they can ask the question. There is no problem. We will discuss in between. So,
Okay, sir.
yes.
Yes, we can do it.
Okay. So, the system biology, basically, with the help of the system biology, we can identify so many kind of the new genes, molecules, and the metabolites, and we can make the relationship using some kind of the mathematical modeling. We can visualize. There is a tool we call the Cytoscape tool. It is very popular tool. Like it is not only for limited for the biological person. It is also useful for the pharmaceutical people, the chemistry people, the physics people. Once you open this Cytoscape, you can correlate many kind of the entity at a time for your experiment. If anybody need more information about this Cytoscape tool, they can ask me. They can write me through my email. I can give the full information how they can use this Cytoscape tool. So here in this picture, it is like this picture was made by the Cytoscape. So this system biology, it is find the many uncharacterized elements. They make some kind of the relationship between the unknown entity to the known entity, and they improve the annotation process, reveal some kind of the relation between the different gene, protein, and the drug, and it is also reduce the complexity. In this reference, I just want to give one example. Like if you see the today national news about the Sushant Rajput murder case. If anybody hear this news in the beginning, it seems like it kind of the normal suicidal case. But after 1 week, 2 weeks, Subramanian Swamy, he stated that it was the planned murder. And the many people start to questioning about this suicide case. Then there was an investigation started. Then later, after 2-3 months, there is many things come in the picture. There are some kind of the drug mafia. There are the other people who involved in this case. And this is, so ultimately, this is not just the suicidal case. Same like in the network biology, like once some kind of the disease was happened, then, okay, this disease was because of some kind of the complexity in the gene. But later that, once we have the sequencing data, we do the RNA sequencing, either microarray, then we can say, no, there is not only involvement of only few genes. There is some kind of the pathway, there is some kind of the metabolites, they also got affected in this disease. So once we have the full information about the one case, then we can make the more correlation, and we can explore the many things inside the disease. Then afterwards, we can design our particular pharmaceutics, particular ligand, which can be more effective on that kind of the particular disease. So this is the basic goal of the system biology and the drug designing. So the important point in the drug designing based bioinformatics tools, The first, they are going to detect the molecular basis of disease, because it is very important. What is the genes? What is the portion of the protein which are mutated? And the result of this mutation, we have some kind of the disease. So these tools are useful to detecting the drug binding site. We can also tailor the drug to bind at the specific site. We can do the protein modeling and traditional method. There also we have the traditional drug designing technique, where we can the screen likely to be compound build, modeling the large number of the compound. We can use the artificial intelligence and the other data mining tools. So like here, once we know the target, then we have the many kind of the database where you can find some kind of the compound, like the ligand, like which compound may be in the act as a drug for that particular conditions. So we can check using the bioinformatics technique. We have a lot of software to do this. So here in this picture, like if you see the first, the person have identified with some disease, then we want to see which kind of the genomics and the proteomics are involved in this particular disease, and try to find the location, and the scientific term we call the targets. So identification of the target is the one of the important phenomena in the case of the drug development process. Then we have start to high throughput screening. Like we have million of the compound which we are going to test against those receptors in the proteins. In this process, we call the virtual screening. We have some tools. These tools help us to find the best ligand molecule which are perform better binding and the docking at this protein site. Once we identify few chemicals, then the next step, we start to making the drug development process with those compounds. In that case, molecular modeling is the one of the important phenomena. Once we have some drugs, then we start to trial those drugs. So see, previous it was take 20 to 25 years to development of some genuine drug, but because of the system biology and bioinformatics, this time as well as the money also reduced. So this is the importance of system biology. Like here in this picture, we can see these are the chromosome. In that chromosome, you have some genomic region. Once we got the sequence of this genomic region, it is very easy technique. Like the people who are working in the vet laboratory, they are dealing this kind of the experiment in the daily basis. So nothing is new. Then they just extract those portion of the genome and they isolate the DNA and the RNA from those portion. Once they have the RNA, they send for the sequencing. After sequencing was done, we have the sequence of those portion of the genomic region. Once we have the DNA sequence, we can easily convert into the protein sequence. Once we have the protein sequence, we can predict the 3D structure of the protein. Once we have the 3D structure of the protein, we can find the active site of those region of the protein, and according to those active site, we can find the drug which can going to bind with this active site of the protein. So this is the whole cell phenomena of the drug designing. So again, what is the high through output data? So now, likewise, we talk about the next generation sequencing. So, and the microarray, these are the technology which can produce the huge amount of the data from the any kind of the disease related to the human. And we have this data in form of the genome, proteome, and the metabolome, which determine the structure and the function of that particular complex biological system. Also, there is another term now we can see the epigenome. So epigenome is also one of the important phenomena where basically we can see what is the effect of the environment on the human health. Like many people have some kind of the cancer, and this cancer because of the environmental phenomena. Like if I want to give some example, the women who are smoking during the pregnancy, they have a more chance to their baby having some kind of the mutation, some kind of the cancer. Like also there was just some research they showed like the fast food also change the genome stability in the human body, and they are going to some kind of the disease. We in the this epigenome there is one term we call the methylation. So there is a lot of methyl group. They can restrict the gene expression process, and they can cause some kind of the severe problem. So this kind of the science we call the epigenomics. And then we have the transcriptomics. Transcriptomic is nothing, just only the mRNA which are expressed during the normal process. So all those entities, genomics, epigenomics, transcriptomics, proteomics, metabolomics, they are related to our health, and they are very important for the healthy life of the human being. And now once we are talking about the molecular basis of the disease, so the researchers, the scientists who are working in this area, they are doing all those analyses related to the human health and the development of some particular drug. So what then we have a high throw output screening. The high throw output screening is an extensively accepted approach for the drug discovery over the last 2 decades. Here we have the computer system, we have the different kind of the drug library, and this STS is used to among the industrial scientists, which scientists working with some kind of the pharmaceutical industry, and some kind of the academic researcher who are working in this area of drug development. And this screening allow them to quickly and a cost-effective process involve the testing of the huge number of the chemical substances and the compound against the biological target. So once we know the target, then we can identify some specific compound, chemical compound, which are effective in some kind of the particular disease. And this high throw output screening quickly synthesize the vast quantity of compound and mostly defined as the screening of 1 million to 10 million compound per day by using ultra high throw output screening. And this high throw output screening accelerate the drug discovery process by the screening of the bioactive molecule from the large compound collection. So we know this bioactive compound we can get from the some kind of the plant, either some kind of the other sources, and it also has been used to characterize the pharmacokinetics and the pharmacodynamics data of the compound. So I guess you guys are from the pharmaceutical sciences, so you know the what is the pharmacokinetics and the what is the pharmacodynamics. And also this high throw output screening and the in silico tools, there are thus discovery facilitate the hit identification in the lead development. So in the next slide, I am going to give the information. I am going to give the list of some kind of the tools which are necessary for the high throw output screening. And the use of this kind of the method can improve the good potency and the low toxicity profile of the drug with the less time and the cost effective. So here you can find the database which contain the some kind of the compound which have ability to become the drug in the future. You can got all those compound, you can test in your laboratory if you having some idea about the high throw output screening. So we have the drug bank, we have the PubChem, We have the potential drug target database, KEGG drug database. It is also very popular. So there is a plenty of the database people are using these days in area of drug development process. So the next question is how we can identify the target. So the identification of the new clinically relevant and the molecular target is one of the most important to the discovery of the innovative drugs. It has been estimated that up to 10 genes contribute in multifactorial disease. It was a paper published in Science in 2000. So typically, these disease genes are linked to another 5 to 10 genes. Product is physiological circuit, which are also suitable for the pharmaceuticals intervention. So, if these number of the multiple with number of disease that pose the major medical problem, and then they are like near about 5,000 to 10,000 potential drug target. So identification of the target, it can be also done through some kind of the tools, but for that we need some kind of the wet lab experiment, we need some kind of the data. So also you know that the protein data bank, most of the proteins in our body, they make through using the NMR and the extracrystallography, and they have the full information about the structure of the particular protein, and we can visualize those protein, and we can find some kind of the target of that particular protein. Here also some kind of the database which having the drug target. We have BIND, we have KEGG, we have OMIM, we have PIM, KingZ, GEO. These are the basic database. I just want to mention NCBI is the one of the biggest source for the system biology and the bioinformatics. Once you go to the NCBI, just search the NCBI, you can find plenty of the other resources related to the drug designing and the development. So how we can identify the drug using the molecular modeling, because molecular modeling now these days is very popular, and it is easy to learn how to do the modeling. There are plenty of the software who are doing the molecular docking. In the human genome sequence is already available, like we already talked about the human genome sequences. And we have again the protein data bank, which is the biggest source of the data repository for the protein ligand complex with their structural information. So we can extract those proteins from the PDB, and molecular structure analysis technique like the nuclear magnetic resonance NMR and the X-ray crystallography method contribute to the acquisition of atomic structure of the proteins and the protein ligand complex and the spatial arrangement for the functional analysis. And so once we have this protein, we can play with this protein using some kind of the biological tools. We can find the active site of those proteins, and then after once we find the active site, on the basis of the what is the chemical and the physical property of the active site, next step we can start to designing some kind of the drug molecule. Just for the easy learning, here I have one small picture so you can understand more better. So these ligand just bind up with the active site of the proteins. The most of the articles which based on the molecular docking, you can see this kind of the picture easily. I hope you enjoying this molecular docking process. So this molecular docking, there are a tool which called a LickPlot. LickPlot, the tool which are used to find the active site region in the our proteins, like protein whatever we downloaded from the PDB. Because you know that the protein have the different physiochemical property. So the active site, basically we can see either it's hydrophobic, either hydrophilic, either acidic, either basic, either having which kind of the, like the amino acid, polar, either non-polar amino acid. So on the basis of that, we can find some suitable ligand. So the structural base method basically used to design the inhibitor molecule is structure-based drug designing, which able to bind with the target side of the protein. And then after we start to scoring function, which provide the objective measurement of the affinity energy between the ligand and the receptor molecule. So once you finish the docking process, then there is a process called energy minimization and the calculation. It is already given by the software. So you can see which receptors and the ligand have the minimum energy. Then in that case, you can say these are the best particular ligand for this protein. So there is another terminology we call molecular dynamics simulation. Is the one of the influential tool for prediction of the conformation of the small molecule and the changes in their conformation with the target. So now this is very common. Once you finish the docking, the next step you are going to do the molecular dynamic simulation, and you can show the different energy level, and you can show now the ligand and the target having the minimum energy range, so they are the more stable compound. Like in the chemical terminology, once the compound, either molecule have the minimum energy, then we call this as the more stable compound. So here also I am just give some tools which are very useful if you want to learn the docking process. And I am basically using the Autodock. So this is also very popular tool for docking the target in the ligand compound. And there is also some kind of the online tools. You don't need to docking. You just only upload your protein and your ligand drug molecule, and you can get your result in the next day, either after few times. So in the ligand based screening, for the given set of the structurally diverse ligand that bind to the receptor, a model of this receptor can be built by the exploiting the collective information contained such set of the ligand, and the candidate ligand can be compared to the pharmacophore model to determine whether it is the compatible with, therefore it is likely to be bind. And there is another approach we call the ligand-based virtual screening. Is used to 2D chemical similarity analysis to scan the database of the molecule against one or more active ligand structure. A popular approach to the ligand-based virtual screening is based on the searching the molecule with the shape similar to that of the known actives. As such, molecule will fit the target binding site, hence it will be likely to be bind the target. So in this picture we have, like, if you have the information of the targets, then we can collect all those kind of the active molecule, and we can start to filter, bind those particular active site of the receptors, then start to giving some kind of the rank, and we can make the list of the best rank, and we can see, like, people generally make 10 best drug either ligand using this process, and they are going to be further analysis of those 10 molecules in future. So these are the, like, the whole soul of the docking. Then now like last 5-10 years, there is another terminology we call the network based strategy for the drug target identification, are also very popular. Likewise, there is a lot of advancement in the bioinformatics area. So number of the computational techniques have been used to search for the novel drug target for information contained in genomics. And once we have the network-based strategy for the drug target identification, then we can attempt to reconstruct the endogenous metabolic, regulatory, and the signaling network with the potential drug target interact. Because once we have the protein with their ligand, it is not only affect that particular protein, also there are some kind of the signaling network and some other entity inside the cells, they are going to be affected. So this network give the full information about the whole system. That's why we call the system biology, and the system biology network strategy is the one of the important parameter. Likewise, once we have this microarray in the NGS technology, so large volume of the gene expression, either protein expression data have been produced, and there have been considerable model proposed to the gene network, either the protein network. Also, this microarray data, such as the drug response expression data, time course expression data, like time course, if you want to see how the disease are going to develop in human, so we can give the different and how the medicine response in that particular disease. So we can give some dose of the medicine time to time, and we can extract the RNA just to see the difference of the time course, how the different genes are expressed in the different time course. So, and the steady state expression data of the gene knockout could be used. And once we have those different time course gene, then we can also make the network to see the difference from the different time point. Here again, you can see some relevant computational tool which are used for the network identification. We have GNA, you have BioMiner, GenePath, Pathfinder, TopNet, VISA-NT, Pathway Miner. These are the tools used in the target using the network. So this system biology network analysis enhance the whole mentioned docking process. And this process first has to develop the drug target network and then prediction of the drug target interaction. It is also explore the drug action in the biomolecular interaction between the ligand and their target in the human cellular constant. And again, the next step to the examination of the hostile effect of the drug on the cell metabolism and the drug relocation. And finally, we can predict the drug combination. Here, I just try to make this picture to explain the system biology. Like we have the disease sequence data, then we can identify the transcriptome, proteome, and the metabolomes of those sequence. Then the next step, you can find the some kind of the drug molecule. So drug discovery process will start. First is to target identification. This target identification based on the structure base and the ligand base. Here I just put some of the picture from my published paper. Then we can perform the multiple docking, and we can see in this picture here in this picture. So this the target are maybe some kind of the enzyme, maybe the G protein coupled receptor, some proteins, maybe ion channels, and the green color showing the drug molecules. So here we can see multiple docking at a time in this network. There are some system biology resources already available. We have binding database, we have BioGrid database. The binding database give the molecular interaction of the protein that is considered to be drug target with a small and the drug-like molecule which contain more than 1 million binding data. Then we have 7,000 protein targets and about 6 million small molecule. I also try to put some information about the COVID-19. So because of this interdisciplinary approach of the system biology, it is very helpful to find out some kind of the drug-like molecule in the case of the COVID-19. So here we are going to make the drug interaction and the protein-protein interaction. Like first, it is the first integrated in the variety of the drug-related information source to construct the heterogeneous network. In the first step, this drug network start to search the suitable binding site for the drug into the receptor proteins, which is geometrically similar to their known target. Then we infer the new interaction for the drug on the basis of the ranking. It is of its target molecule. Likewise, in this picture, you can see we have the COVID-19 disease. Then we can do the sequencing and we can identify some kind of the transcriptome and the proteome of this disease. Then start to mining the data, whatever published in the scientific literature. And also we can submit those transcriptome proteomics in the database. Then we can build the network. Once we have the network, we can identify the drug on the basis of the target. Like for example, as we know that there are two more important targets in this COVID-19. One is the H2 and another is the BSG. They are very popular in case of the COVID-19. And the system biology utilizes this protein to make the host pathogen intercom network with the high confidence. And also they make the sub-network which have the information about the protein-protein interaction. And it is then in this network, so the influence of the corona invasion on the lethal camrobright in the insulin resistant. So this paper just published in like 3 months before. They identify the drug molecule which potentially down-regulated H2 receptor with other critical protein were also identified with the network-based approach. There are 3 drug molecules which are very useful in case of diabetes. The name of these drugs are the enciclinide, ethnostate, and the Mosquito state. Here I just put the information about some of the protein target in case of the COVID-19. You can also download, if you want to work in this COVID-19, you can see their 3D structure in protein data bank. So there is one online platform which help to finding the drug molecule for the COVID-19. This is called the COVAX. So the COVAX provide the facility for the drug target through the experimentally validated SARS coronavirus 2 and the SARS coronavirus 1 human protein interaction. And this is also make the network between the host protein interaction and the drug target interaction. And this COVAX web interface also explore the molecular mechanism of the virus life cycle and predict the drug repository candidate involved in this mechanism. So we can see how fast this system biology start to working on the COVID-19. Here are some of the drugs already predicted through the system biology against the COVID-19. You can see their chemical structure, and you can also find their permanent ID, so you can define from there if you want. Okay, so this is the whole phenomena of the system biology. The next step is the clinical trial. As we know that the National Institute of Health, which organized the clinical trial into 5 different phases, different types of the clinical trial. The treatment trial, where the test experimental treatment are the new combination of the drugs. Then we have the prevention trial, which look for the way to prevent the disease or prevent it from the returning. Then we have the diagnostic trial, screening trial, and the quality of the life trial. These are the different phases of the clinical trial. I am not going to detail in it because my focus is on the system biology. But if you want to see the information about the clinical trial, and then you can ask about this presentation, I can send you anytime. So we know that here the different phases, phase 0, phase 1. In phase 0, we are going to do the pharmacodynamics and the pharmacokinetics on the human. So also the phase 1, a small group of the healthy volunteer, generally 20 to 80, are selected to access the safety, tolerability, and the pharmacokinetics and the pharmacodynamics of the therapy. Then we have the phase 1, where we have the single ascending dose, multiple ascending dose, and the food effect. Then phase 2 and the phase 3. After phase 3, we can submitted our report to the FDA for the further review. And the phase 4, they are going to launch the safety monitoring and the ongoing technical support for the drug. Maybe the pharmaceutical company are going to be invited to further process of the drug in the large scale for the common people. Here some of my research article basis on the molecular docking in the system biology, which are published. This is the published in the experimental in the molecular pathology in 2012. That time I was working with IBRI. Then this is published in 2018, related to the interleukin protein. This is the one of the review article published in the based on the system biology. This is just published in this year in the Cells Journal. So, like we discussed many things about the system biology, crystallography, and MR. These are the essential for development of the drug process. And we know the system biology and bioinformatics are now one of the important technique in area of the emerging drug designing. We can't ignore it, because this is once you are the good in the drug designing area, good in the pharmaceuticals, same time if you have the knowledge of this kind of the technology, you are now very high demanding people for the pharmaceuticals company. So thank you. for your patience. If you have any doubt, we can discuss now.
Thank you, sir. This is Parthiban. Actually, we have got very informative as well as excellent scholarly lecture from you. And
Thank you,
actually,
sir.
we may not be knowing what is how the development has been, drug development is happening in COVID-19. But you have given a very clear picture. You have started this seminar with the Human Genome Project, and you came with this COVID-19, how it may be. In between, you have covered a lot of topics. Even you have started with talked with personal medicine and how the personal medicine may be linked with the system biology. Then bioinformatics and how the bioinformatics may be applied and to get the drug molecules made into significant way. And finally, that is emerging trend, that is COVID-19. Previously, we may not be knowing how the COVID-19 drug research may be going on, but after your lecture, we came to know that is very clearly, that is, this is what the preliminary step the people may be going for this COVID-19 research, and we can boldly say that is, this is what the way of approach to this COVID-19 drug invention. And also we have given tips about these clinical trials also. So thank you very much. Many thanks for your kind lecture, sir. Okay, sir. Next, I request audience to give it's a discussion session. So kindly actively participate. You are requested to actively participate in the discussion. And there will be two platforms we are providing. That is, you can talk in oral also, you can ask question, as well as you can type it in a chat box also. You are welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay. Sir, can I ask one question? That is, I am having a doubt in that.
Yes.
That is regarding personalized medicine. See, we have talked about all the research, whether it may be patented for individuals, how it may be executed. This is what the doubt, very long doubt I have.
Actually, sir, like I heard some news, like in the United States, few of the people, like the big peoples, they have their own biochip. Oh. Like we know about the microarray chip. So in that particular biochip, they have the whole information about their genomes inside their body. Okay. So once there is some kind of the mutation, some kind of the changes, either some kind of the disease, they can easily identify. Okay. So a concept is that like we can make the more affordable microarray chip, either biochip for every individual. So we have the full information of their genome. So we can see where is the problem. On the basis of that problem, we can give the treatment according to that.
Okay. Thank you, sir. But for working cost, it may be a little bit high, I hope.
Yeah. Now it is little bit high, but in future, like if you talk about the NGS sequencing, like 5 years before, it was very costly. But now within €10, we can do the NGS sequencing. So day by day, like the technology and the science is going to be advanced, and maybe the one day we have the cell phone. Inside the cell phone, we have the full information of our body system.
Oh,
so the people are working on it.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Because when I'm coming through this personalized medicine, this is what the thing, whether it might be applicable for all the people or not. That's why I asked the question, sir.
No, it will be, but it will take some time for the normal people.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Audience, participants are requested. Sir, any question? It is coming in the chat box.
Okay.
How could that is Anila KN is asking the question, how could we get these process done economically to common people? It may take so long, right?
Which process? Like if he talking about drug designing process on the computational basis. So there is no cost. There is just only he has to learn about the bioinformatics and a little bit about the database and the computer science. So he can at least he can use how to find the some kind of the drug molecules. The next step was going to done by the wet lab people, like the guys who are working at the M Pharma, either B Pharma. Once they give the full information about the drug, then this pharma student they can make that particular drug.
Thank you, sir. Participants are requested come forward for the discussion.
Okay, hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Welcome, sir.
Hello, sir.
Myself is Anish TP, working in Amrita School of Pharmacy, Kochi.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, sir. I want that. First of all, thank you for an informative session, sir. About molecular docking. Is it audible, sir? Hello.
Molecular docking.
No, sir. No, sir. My question is, how we can predict the ligand as an agonist or an antagonist in the case of binding, since we are binding with a protein, right? So how we can predict it as an inhibitory or a stimulatory ligand?
So like we have many tools. Like once you start to just only Google it, then you can find some tools. Once you have the information about the disease, in case of some disease, the protein, because in the major case, most of the protein involved in some kind of the disease. Once you know the physiochemical property, and you have some list of the molecules, some chemicals which maybe in future it can be used for the drug. So you start to monitoring using the docking tools. Okay. So maybe if you have the list of 20 different kind of the molecules, different kind of the chemicals, start to make the docking, and you can see the score after the docking. Like then after see the score, you can choose best 5 other best 10 molecule, and then you can test in your laboratory what is the effect of those drug in the some part. Maybe now we have the laboratory where we can grow the cells. Inside the cells we can put the molecule, and we can see the effect of those particular chemicals, the molecule on the cell system. So there are so many techniques now these days are very popular, people are using. And this bioinformatics, this give you the virtual phenomena. And like it is not 100% truth whatever the result come in the computational analysis. Maybe the result will be differ, but most probably it will give you the full information about the current situation.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. One more query is that not all drugs may not be receptor oriented. The action of the drugs may not be receptor oriented. For example, in the case of alkylating agents, it is alkylating on amino acid present in it. So in such cases, how will you predict the drug targets?
You are talking about some kind of the disease, special disease, either so you are talking about some drug molecule.
In some cases, it may not be the drug action may not be receptor oriented. Some may be some chemical process or like
yes,
that.
Yes.
In such cases, how will you predict a target? If you need to develop a molecule in such cases, how will you predict the targets?
So in that case, there is another process we call de novo drug identification. So once we don't have any information about the drug target, then we have those kind of the drug molecules, and we can have the database for the different kind of the receptor. Then in that case, we can put the drug, and we can select some few receptors which are going to response in that particular case. So this is the vice versa. In some case, we don't know the receptors, we don't know the active sites. So we just do the reverse process. We call the de novo drug identification in the computational terminology.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sir, another request from Shraddha. Actually, she is from Adipara Shakti College of Pharmacy, Tamil Nadu. Actually, she would like to work on interest on plant genome.
Yes.
So whether you are able to give some guidance like that, she's asking.
Yes. For us, like who are the bioinformatics, it doesn't matter either human, either plant, because the genomics is the same. There is no much more difference between the genomics. Like gene are going to be expressed, either gene are going to be down-regulated. So I can keep the my idea if you want to ask something about the plant genome.
Okay, thank you, sir. Participant are requested to come forward for the discussions. So very valuable person is spending time with us. So we must utilize this opportunity to clear our doubts. We have.
So again, I just want to like clear for all the participants, if you are doing the B Pharma, either M Pharma, at least you have the basic of the bioinformatics, how to find the drug, how to find the protein, how to do the docking. It will be very helpful to you for the further study.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable guidance. Participants, come forward. This is an interactive session. Okay, sir.
Yeah, Dr. Brijesh. Yeah, Dr. Brijesh.
Yes.
Hello. Yes.
Sir.
Yeah. Thank you very much, and you have given a very excellent session, and you have given a very depth knowledge about the bioinformatics and drug designing. All these things you have given a very. You have shared your experience from your research field, and you have taken all the way through. You have taken your much more strain, and you have spent your valuable time for us for sharing your experience on the today's session. From my part of view, just I'm saying great thanks to you, sir, for your effort.
It's my pleasure, sir. Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. So I would like to only one just this thing, sir. So this software we are using it. How it is affordable for a normal institution, and that's a thing. Just how it is affordable. What would be how we can proceed?
The softwares for docking?
Yes.
Sir, there are so many softwares. They are freely available. Only few like Scrunch. Only few are the paid, but most of them are the freely available. Like you can see the Autodoc. They are also freely available, and these are the one of the most popular software. And the people are working with this kind of the softwares, and they publish the very good papers in the international journals. So there is no issue with like the cost. So this is the good thing, because once a human genome project was completed, then one of the main aim for this project to provide all the information for the researcher on free basis. So the research in this area can boost up. Hello, it is the exact question. It is the exact question. What are you asking?
Yes. How the software is, how it would be affordable for?
No. You can install like the other tools, whatever we install in our mobile phone, some kind of the application. Same with the softwares. If you have the Windows system, you can install your Windows. If you have the Apple, then you can install. But version is the different for the Linux, Windows, and the Apple. The same process. You can install it, and then we can play with it. It will take some time, but after like 1 day, 2 days, we are going to be master of that softwares. For this networking, I am just talking about the one tool, Cytoscape. Cytoscape now these days also using by the many of the other subjects, like pharmacy, economics. People want to see the correlation. So these are very popular, the cytoscape. And basically it was involved for the drug development and the find drug-drug interaction, so to see the drug-drug interaction. But now these days there is a huge popularity of this tool.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you very much for your
Basically, like once we are doing the pharmacy, either once we are doing the chemistry, once I doing the biology, we are thinking just about the pharmacy, either biology. But once we make the correlation, we can see like whatever available on the pharmacy, same things people are doing in the drug development process in the bioinformatics. There is nothing more difference. Just only the experiment is the different, the output is the same. The main aim is to develop some drugs which are better for the human being. So that's why now this is time to make the collaboration, the collaborative team between the people of the pharmacy, because they have the big idea about each of the chemical molecule, and the people in the biology, they have their own perspectives. Once 2-3 minds are work together, then we can produce the more fruitful result of the society, for the welfare of the human being.
Yeah, okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Sir, one more. Sir.
Yeah, please, please. Proceed,
This,
sir.
this cytoscape is network analysis, right?
Yes, yes.
Can you elaborate
This is
something
network
about
analysis.
what is it mainly used for? Mainly for target prediction, or can you
No.
elaborate?
So it is mainly for the looking the correlation. Look, what is the correlation between the two different kind of like drug and the receptors, either drug and the drug, how they are correlated, like that.
No, one more thing, sir. Whether a PDB can be bind with another PDB. So, sometimes enzymes may be available, right? Enzyme can be given as drug. Whether an enzyme can be bind with a protein.
Yes.
How it can be done, sir? By the same way, or
the same way, like see, what PDB basically the database where we have the information of the plenty of the protein and also plenty of the ligand, like drug molecule. You can also find the information about the ligand which bind with the protein. So if they are on the antagonistic, they can, the one protein can bind with the another protein. So the method is the same, but some other things are going to be different, because the ligand is the small molecule. Ligand start to search some kind of the active site, then there is going to be bind. But in the case of the protein, suppose that this is the one protein, this is the another protein. If they have some kind of the antagonistic property, that in that case they can bind. We call the protein-protein interaction.
right. In such cases, we can analyze only the protein-protein interaction, right?
Yes, protein-protein interaction.
Okay.
Sure.
Some days the enzymes may be large in structure, right? So that may be the reason. So it will not dock with the PDB, right?
Yeah.
So in such cases, protein-protein interaction may be enough, right, for predicting the interaction.
Yes. For the protein-protein interaction, we call the protein-protein interaction.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, sir. And now I request our principal, sir, Dr. B. Sridhar, sir, say some few words.
Sir, principal, sir. Sir, principal, sir. I think he is not here. I hope so.
Oh, his sir is there. I think some connectivity problem is there. I think.
Sir, your voice is very low, sir. Little bit you can talk louder, please.
Yeah, sir is there on the line.
Sir, principal, sir. I think there is an issue of network problem. I hope so.
No problem, sir. I call this one. Request Prashant, sir. Prashant, sir, can you please
Hello?
give for? Yeah, can,
Hello.
sir.
Yeah, sir.
Welcome, sir. Welcome,
Sir,
sir. Please.
Sir, you are requested to give few words about this particular seminar.
Yes. Yeah. Sir, yes.
Hello, Parthiban, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sir is saying, speaking?
He is actually is
No.
instead of unmuting, he has. I think there is an issue of connection problem.
Okay. Request Prashant sir to give some words. Prashant sir, are you in line?
Yes, sir, I am on. Sir, good morning. Good morning, Dr. Brijesh, sir. Yeah, it's a wonderful section. Dr. Brijesh, can you hear me?
Hello. Now
Yes,
this.
I can.
Yeah. Yes, sir, please.
Okay, Principal sir, please, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. It is audible.
Okay.
Please give, sir.
See, this session was very wonderful. He has given clear doubts of participants in a nice manner. Hope they will get in touch with him and for proceeding their further research work. Sir, thank you so much for your valuable speech by spending your valuable time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, you too,
Yeah.
for inviting in this occasion.
Nice meeting you.
Now I request Prashant sir to give a few words.
Good morning, sir. It was a very nice presentation by Dr. Brijesh. Actually, I was also a biology person, a pharmacology person. He explained the role of chemistry and biology integration of research, which can be very helpful to the mankind, or we can give a better treatment, or a better drug can be designed by the integrating all the areas together and doing a research. And also you say that the genomics will be the once the genomic project has been completed, the entire sequence will be, or entire things will be freely available in the websites for the researchers. That will be very valuable, very good information you have passed to the listeners or the delegates. I hope all the delegates will get, who are working in the same area, may get some thread from him, and you can also develop. And he also explained the way how the sir was explaining the queries from the delegates was very wonderful. And I think he almost clear all the doubts of the delegates, and they can utilize him. They can collaborate with sir to further development of their projects or their research field. I hope sir will be very happy to extending his helping hands to the researchers, those who want to collaborate or don't want any help from him. So I hope all of them will be beneficial with this wonderful talk from Dr. Brijesh. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for your valuable time and spending with us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank
You too. And I need some kind of the collaboration, because in the research, if you want to survive, if you want to get good information for the science, we need to collaborate.
Yeah, sure, sir. Yes, exactly, sir. Yes. I hope you may get something from our ideas.
Yes, I am hoping. I'm hoping that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Parthiban sir.
I think we can wind up the section. Parthiban sir, there is no doubts was there, then we can wind up the section.
Yes, sir. Parthiban sir.
I think Parthiban sir having some connectivity problem. That was the issue. That was the issue. That was the major difficulty in a webinar. Okay, whenever we always have connectivity problems if the climatic changes happen. So that is not where we can wind up the section. We can hand over to Rajshri.
Thank you, Dr. Vijay Singh Yadav, for such an informative and interesting session. We are pleased to have you here for the second day of International E-Faculty Development Program. We owe you a special vote of thanks for being here and for the time and effort you took to share your research findings and experiences. Once again, on behalf of the management and staff of Nehru College of Pharmacy, thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
One minute, somebody has.
Thank you very much.
I think somebody has some queries on Asha John. She came for a. Somebody has raised the voice. Anybody has any queries? I think no. Okay. Sorry, sir. Sorry for the interruption.
No problem.
By this, we are at the end of today's session. International E-Faculty Development Program organized by Nehru College of Pharmacy will be continued tomorrow, 9 September 2020 at 9:30 a.m. with another eminent speaker.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you a lot, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you a lot.
See you in the future.
Yeah. Sure, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you everyone for joining today's session. I request all delegates to join tomorrow at 9:15 a.m. through the same link. Once again, thanking you all. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Have a nice day to all of you.
So thank you, same to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Parthiban sir. Hello, Parthiban sir.
Yes, sir. I'm joining.
Yeah. Please, waiting for you. Please, sir is waiting. Bridges sir is waiting. Please.
Hello, sir. Thank you very much for your wonderful lecture.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And I hope in future, if you need me to explain some bioinformatics, some kind of the tools, I will be always available for you guys.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Have a nice day. Thank you. Have a great session. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
So now I can leave.
Yes. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.